Why, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Play Callers. Happy 2021. Happy New Year. Gentlemen, we have quite the show tonight. And first off, let me say, welcome, New Year. You guys, Santa spoiled you rotten. You had a really good New Year. Joining me every single time, we have Coach Kirk Broussard and Coach Chris Williams. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tracy. Happy New Year to both of you.
Yep,
Thank you. Long time no see. Glad to be back.
2021. Can't wait to see what it has in store for us. Well, it's January 4th, and we have a special guest joining us. We have Travis Taylor, an American former college and professional football player, wide receiver in the NFL. He played for the Baltimore Ravens, Minnesota Vikings, Oakland Raiders, and the St. Louis Rams. So tonight, Travis, welcome to the Play Callers.
Thank you for having me.
I just want to take a second off. First off, happy holidays to you. Wishing you all the best for 2021. I know there's so much in your career that we are excited to talk to you about tonight and discuss, but I want to start off with, where are you today and what are you doing?
Oh, I'm down in Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, I'm coaching football down here at Mountain View High School, volunteer coach football down here. And I also got the business going on that I do, and try to enjoy life for the most part.
Keeping really busy, but you're still in the game.
Absolutely.
I know that the coaches, they're ready to dive right into your career. So you know what? Let's pass the mic on, gentlemen. Travis is all yours.
Welcome, Travis. Welcome.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me.
How's your New Year starting off for you?
Man, it's going well. I ain't do too much, sitting around the house. I think I played some Madden. That was about it, man. Just take it easy.
Yeah, you sound like me.
Yeah, with everything going on these days, man, the safest place to be is at home. So try to stay home.
You're right about that. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, Coach, you want to kick it off?
All right. Yeah, I'll go first. First of all, glad to have you here, Travis. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I got just a couple questions for you. And I'll kind of lead in. I always like to lead into my questions, but I played college football at University of Louisiana at Monroe.
Okay.
At one point, there was a kid that came in. His name was Dominic Ross. I'm about 6 or 7 years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic was a transfer from Florida State, and he played in high school ball in Jacksonville. So he always would brag about high school football in Jacksonville. He went to Range.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so Dominic, ended up playing a few years with the Cowboys and, had a nice NFL run, but he always would brag about that. And so I guess my question to you is about, he told me that playing in Jacksonville, Florida high school, and you played at Ribault, he mentioned that high school to me then too.
Uh-huh.
He said that playing in that high school system, if you could play there, you could play anywhere. That's the way he broke it down to me. And he said it was almost like a little league of its own.
Oh, absolutely.
So explain what that's like coming up in that system.
Oh, man, Jacksonville football is something special, especially playing in Reigns and Ribault. That's a very, very sacred rivalry in Jacksonville, man. At one point, it was played down in the Jacksonville at Jaguar Stadium, but they didn't move it to the local high schools to Ribault in Reigns. But, man, you're talking about athletes, like Brian Dawkins, Carmichael, Warren Sapp, Patrick Sapp, Lito Shepard, Jabari Gaffney. Wow. And now the names I just named went to Reigns. Lavernius Coles went to Ribault with me. So and Reigns and Ribault is probably a half a mile away from each other.
Okay.
So with those two schools, with a half a mile between those two, there's probably been 35 NFL players that in those two schools, man. So Jackson football is something special, and they're still putting out great players now. Like the kid at Ohio State, Sean Wade, he's from Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
We claim Derrick Henry, so he's from Yulee, but that's like Jacksonville, so we'll take it too. But the football in Florida, man, is something special, something different. You don't find it anywhere in the country like that, like it is in Jacksonville.
Right. What makes you guys so competitive? I mean, is it the the coaches? I mean, what about it makes it that way?
You know what, man? It's a lot of different factors, but I think the coaches definitely were a big part of it. All of my high school coaches played college football, and actually Kevin Martin, who played for the Dallas Cowboys for a long time, was my receiver coach when I was playing at Reebok. But the coaching staff, man, what they instilled to us and how they raised us, how they, I mean, back then, it took a village to raise somebody. And that's what it was. I mean, it wasn't, don't put your hands on my son, don't touch him like this. You knew, hey man, you do something wrong, you had to pay for it. Coach Wilkes gonna get on you, your mom gonna get on, your dad get on you. So it was a tight community, man, and we all became better men for it.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, he would always talk about that, and there's not many places like that. When you start talking about the amount of guys, I mean, per capita. I mean, kicking out that many pros, I mean, that's just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, again, it's something special. Actually, my high school, just my receivers. So we had 4 receivers, including Lavernius Coles on my junior. We all played in NFL for at least a year.
That's great.
So I had four receivers on my high school football team play NFL, man. So again, the talent pool is deep, but the guys are hungry. It was a different attitude, different hunger that we had.
I can see it. Definitely can see it. And my other question is just looking at your career and seeing what your background is. I would ask you now. Not very many guys can go back and say they had the college career you had. Were first round draft picks, can say that they were in a Super Bowl. I mean, and when you look at your stats and you say, man, this is a guy that over 300 catches in the best league in the land, right? So you're talking over 300 catches, over 4,000 yards. I mean, there's not very many humans walking around that can say that happened. So I want to ask you, man, do you really, I know you probably felt a certain way when you played, but now looking back, do you really appreciate how special of a career that you had and how different you are from most guys that play the game?
You know what, man? To me, it was never, I was better or I was more special than anybody. I just played the game because I love to play football. Like, if they'd have told me, hey, man, you ain't never going to get paid to play football, cool, sign me up, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a small town country boy, man. Mom and dad from a small country town down in South Georgia. Grew up on a farm. We had cows, chickens, and hogs, and all that stuff. So to me, football was just a game that we played. We had fun going to the backyard, man. We watched it on Sundays, watched it on Saturdays.
Right.
So I got the opportunity to play football, man, and have a pretty good career. And still to this day, it doesn't, resonate to me like, oh, that's Travis Taylor. Like, I'm just a, small town country boy that, plays some football. But, when it comes to the kids, man, especially like I said, I volunteer coach high school football. So for me, it's really big for get back to my community, get back to the kids, and they see it as, oh man, that's Coach Taylor. He played in the league, you know what I'm saying? So they give me a sense of, oh, okay, I might have did something back then.
Right. That's crazy. Now I guess I asked this to be my last question. Do you have any sons yet?
Yes,
yet?
I do.
Okay.
But he plays a little football, man. He's young. He's only 7.
Okay.
So my oldest is 22. I got 5 girls and 1 boy.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
So my oldest she just graduated from University of Florida. My second oldest, she's down at FIU. She plays soccer there. So she's the only athlete in the family. So everybody else like, nah, I don't want to do it. It's too much hard work, So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you if your kids really paid attention to what you did too. I just always measure guys by, I always talk about the levels. I mean, only 1% of us get to go play college football.
Yeah.
Definitely less of us get to play Division I college football. And when I look at a guy and I say, hey man, first round draft pick and all the things that you did, I mean, that's absolutely amazing. And maybe a little bit later on in life, you'll realize how amazing that is. But
I guess so. But to answer your question, I think about the kids. My kids, but they definitely, my daughter the other day was wearing a Ravens jersey with my number on it. You know what I'm saying? They all want Ravens gear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they definitely, I guess to take advantage of it, but you know, they love it. It's all, my dad's Travis Taylor, you know. So to me, I'm just their father, you know. But at the same time, they cherish it, and it's something wonderful for them to cherish for the rest of their life, you know.
Absolutely, that's awesome. I'm
Travis,
gonna go with my questions. I'm done.
All right, cool.
Travis, I just want to quickly ask you. You said you have a son who's 7.
Yes.
So at what age are you going to introduce the game of football playing on a team?
Oh, tackle or non-tackles, that's a big difference. For me, I didn't start playing. Well, I played football. I didn't play tackle football until I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So it would probably be. I mean, he knows about football. He plays around, throw it, you know, play with his cousins and everything. But as far as, you know, tackle part of it, probably 9 or 10. You know, in these days, it's a little different. I can't say a little different, but you know, when I watch some of these little league practices and what they're doing, and kids are playing 16 game seasons twice a year, I'm like, dude, like how are they doing that? It's insane. But yeah, I mean, if he wants to play football, I'm all for him, support. If he doesn't, I'm supporting him as well. You know.
Oh, there's the big question. What if he doesn't want to play football? That's
I mean, if
okay?
he doesn't, I'm all for it. Like, yeah, that's fine. Like, you know, hey, Dad did it. That doesn't mean you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? I took those hits and those couple concussions here and there. Hey, if you don't want to do it, I understand, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, football ain't for everybody.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Coach Kirk Broussard, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, you know, I think the same thing with my son. You know, before I had a son, I used to always kind of think as a young guy, I want my son to play football. That's a dream of mine, you know. But the older I get, man, I look at the game and I think, you know, it's the type of game that you really got to want it. You have to want it to play that game. So, you know, it's not something you can force someone into. So I can introduce it to him. If he wants it, you know, I'll guide him. But other than that, I won't be disappointed if he doesn't want it. So.
I definitely agree.
But Travis, what I wanted to get into, I wanted to talk about, you know, going from the University of Florida to the NFL. How was it as far as from a conceptual standpoint with the terminology from Spurrier to what you experienced in pros? Was that an easy transition? Was that smooth? Was a lot of similarities coming from Spurrier's system? You know, how was that transition for you?
Actually, it wasn't. I'm sorry. It wasn't a hard transition at all because Coach Spurrier had a pro style offense. You know, we read coverages. We adjusted routes in the middle of the route, depending on what coverage you got. If it's cover 3, you got the curl. If it's cover 2, you got the corner route. You know, you're reading safeties. You met with the quarterbacks. Whatever the quarterbacks knew, you knew. You understand protections. You understand when you hot routes and all that stuff. So for us, you know, coming from University of Florida and playing on Coach Spurrier, man, I think we had an advantage going to the NFL because our offense was the NFL offense. You know, so the terminology was almost the same because Coach Spurrier's on the number system, like at the Baltimore was on the number system as well. So you know, the 3 route was a speed out. You know what I'm saying? The 6 was a curl. The 4 was a dig.
Wow.
2 was a slant. The 90 was a hit. So that stuff for me was like, all right, cool. I know this already. You know,
that's easy. Yeah. Easy transition. So what was he like as a coach? I mean, you hear so much stuff about him being a legendary coach. I mean, an offensive guru. You know, how much of his coaching, you know, philosophies did you take with you now into coaching, and how was he just overall as a coach? I hear stories about if you drop a ball in a game, you run a stadium. You know, are these myths? Was that type stuff true or what?
No, that wasn't true. No, you know, anytime you drop a ball, you definitely run a stadium. But Coach Spurrier, man, he was a great. I mean, but he is a great offensive mind, great head coach, great coach. You know, you learn how to approach the game as far as be a student of the game, of watching film, getting the beat on guys. But Coach Spurrier's one of the guys like, hey man, if you're the hot guy, he's gonna feed you the ball. Like, you know, if you got 3 catches on the first drive of the first series, oh yeah, it's gonna be a good day for you. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna keep giving you the ball. But his as he got older, you know, he got a little more calmer and stuff like that. And But man, Coach Spurrier is a special guy, especially for me. Because when I was in college, I was married at the time, and so for me, I respect Coach Spurrier more as a man, especially him and his wife, Mrs. Spurrier. They used to come over. I'm not today, but Miss Spurrier would come. She would come and babysit my oldest daughter.
Mm.
And
Wow.
she come pick my daughter up, man, because my wife at the time, she was in college as well. And so she'd go to class and Miss Bird come pick her up and babysit her, man, and take her to the office and she'll sit there with her. So, man, for me, it was more than Coach Bird to me is more than a football coach. The person and the family that he has, man, is huge for me. And I'll never forget what they did for me when I was in college, you know?
Mm-hmm. What was it like when he recruited you? What was that process like when, you first got on his radar, first made contact with him, whether he visited you at home? How did that process go? What was it like being recruited by Steve Spurrier?
Oh man, you're going way, way back, aren't you?
Yeah, I got to, man. I gotta. He's such a important figure in my coaching path as well. I mean, he was a model, and I'm just curious to know what were those in-home visits with him like. How did was he cocky? Was he smooth? What was he like?
He wasn't cocky at all, man. Actually, I can remember when he came to one of my basketball games to watch me play, because Ribault is one of the bigger basketball programs in the state of Florida, and so came to the basketball game and it was packed out. I think he had a good game, man. And then after the game, he came over to my parents' home and we had dinner. We sat down, talked about football a little bit. Coach Dixon was there, Coach Collins was there. So for me, when Coach Spurrier recruited me, man, it was one of those really, chill, laid back. Hey, it's every day, Coach Spurrier. He wasn't a guy that you see, no screaming, no hollering, not cocky. He just came in and was a good man. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what attracted me and my family to University of Florida, because what kind of man he was,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm sorry.
In that recruiting process, when did you know you wanted to be a Gator? Well, I mean, is it something you knew right away? Did you play the long game with Coach Spurrier? Like you just making up your mind, or what was that like?
Oh man, you know what? I didn't decide I was going to Florida until it had to been around January 5th or 6th, I think, something like that. But it was right after the national championship game. Because if you remember back then, it was Ike and Riddell Anthony. Ike here and Riddell Anthony was at Florida. So those guys were like, I think both of them had like 200-yard receiving, 17 touchdowns, saying huge catches, and both of them went to the NFL. They left like, oh yeah. Without doubt, I was going to Florida. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of times, I guess a lot of times, but the opportunity was there for me to play as a freshman. And I'm like, if it's there, I come in there and do what I need to do, work hard, and I got an opportunity. So, yeah. But actually, for me, it was between Florida State and Florida. And I was actually leaning towards Florida State. And then, like I said, I can Riddell left. Like, yeah, I'm going to Florida, man. That was it for me.
Yeah. So, I had a little bit of crossover, in the college years with Lavonius Coles. Did you call him Trouble?
Trouble.
Was his nickname Trouble?
Yeah, Trouble. Yeah.
So, I used to hear a lot about Ribault in the, I wanted to really ask you, coming from the city of Jacksonville, you talk about Lavonius Coles, you talk about Jabbar Gaffney, you talk about so many receivers that came out of that city. Is there ever a debate, who's the best receiver to come out of the city of Jacksonville? I mean, you guys.
We've never had that conversation before. Me, Lavonius, Jabbar, but for me, it would have to go to Carl. I keep forgetting his name, man. Played for Philadelphia Eagles, 6'7".
Carmichael.
Harold Carmichael. For me, it's Harold Carmichael. I think he's the best you ever come through Jacksonville. I mean, he's 6'7", 230 pounds. I think he's the tallest receiver ever played in the NFL. He's still with the Eagles organization to this day. What he's meant to the community of Jacksonville, to Raines and Ribault, to that area, man. To me, he is the greatest receiver to come out of Jacksonville.
Nice. Talk about coming out of Florida. Well, when you enter Florida, did you know first round, three 3-4 years, I'm first round. I mean, because you were kind of like an underrated guy, if I'm not correct,
Mhm.
coming out.
Yep.
You weren't like the blue chip in that class, like the top receiver in that class, you know.
No, actually, we signed 5 receivers in that class. We're the Fab Five, and I was the
Uh-huh.
5th rated receiver in the class.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was Steve Shipp, who was the number 2 player in the nation. He was number 1
Yep.
receiver in the nation.
From North Carolina.
There was Daryl Jackson. Daryl Jackson was number 2 receiver in the nation.
Yep.
Daryl still holds the Florida record for receiving touchdowns. He had 46 receiving touchdowns in a year.
Yeah.
Had Brian Hargerbrook, who was like number 4 receiver in the nation, and
Yep.
then we had Mike Gibson, probably the best athlete that out of all of us.
Yeah.
But man, you know, like I said, I wasn't, you know, that highly rated guy. I just came in, man, became a sponge, worked my butt off, man, and got an opportunity and took advantage of it. But man, yeah, we were the name the Fab Five of football, you know. So that's those 5 receivers, man, back in the day. So, but yeah. And it's not where you start, man. It's how you finish. It's all about hard work, getting behind that, busting your butt, man. Inside, especially in college, you know, on the football field, in the weight room, in the classroom, all that stuff go hand in hand.
Exactly. I also wanted to talk about, you know, when you completed that journey in college, you became a first round pick. You get to Baltimore Ravens. You know, everyone as football players, you know, we dream about being in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, getting to the Ravens, getting to the Super Bowl. I mean, walking out on that field, Super Bowl, the biggest game in the world, everybody watching. What were those emotions like for you to be able to reach that level of that game?
It was unbelievable. Like I said, it's definitely a dream come true. Even though I didn't play in the Super Bowl, I was on IR, man. I got hurt in game 12 and broke my clavicle. But the great thing about that experience was, so me and Ray, you know, we're good friends, man. He's like, hey, man, when I come out the tunnel, I want you to record me, you know. So Ray had his own little camera, and he wanted me to record him coming out of the tunnel, you know, for the Super Bowl. So I was right there, man. Got his dance on camera for him, man. And so, you know, and obviously we all know about Ray Lewis and his career, what he's done. But with all those things, man, being a young guy, being at a Super Bowl experience, man, that is something I'll never forget. Lifelong dream. And, hey, man, you know, we won. The rest is history.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep, that's all I got. Back to you, Tracy.
Well, Travis, I want you to tell me, like, your career, absolutely incredible, first round pick, NFL for 2000. Looking back over your career, it's a 2-part question here. One, who were your mentors, and what advice do you have for kids now who are getting into professional sports? I mean, it's a whole new world. Every year it changes. So who was your mentor? What advice do you have for kids that are having this dream of being a professional sport athlete?
Oh, man, one of my mentors was Chris Carter. And so when I came out of the draft, you know, every big time receiver wanted to go down, every receiver wanted to go down to Fort Lauderdale and train the Chris Carter's receiver camp. And Chris was there every day. His bus is behind. Like if you ever seen a guy throw up every single day, that was Chris Carter. And his motto was, hey, look, if it don't kill me, it makes me better. And that guy would go out there and work his butt off, man. You wonder why he played for so long. It was so good. But it was one of the hardest working guys that I've ever seen on the football field. And my other mentor and his great friend to this day, man, is Randall Cunningham. Randall taught me so much about life. It wasn't necessarily about the game of football, which he did talk a lot about the game of football. But what he taught me about life was way more important. It was bigger than football. And the lessons that he taught me, I'll never forget, and I always treasure, you know, the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. And now, what advice do you have for any person who's trying to become that professional athlete?
Oh man, like I say, it's so different these days, especially with camera phones. As we can see, we're online, and you're in Canada, and I think, you know, you guys all over the place, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I think social media plays such a big part in a positive way and a negative way. You know, we seen guys in the draft put stuff on social media and drop five to six spots in the draft. We've seen guys recently get cut because of the internet, because of the cell phone. But it's just tough. It's tough for these guys. It's a lot tougher than what we had when we was coming up. So yeah. But for me, I would tell these young guys, man, work hard. Love on your family. Keep people in your circle that love you, who respect you, who doesn't have a problem telling you no. You don't need a yes man. Work hard.
Love it.
Go in there and work hard. For the younger guys that high school, college level, get that degree. Stay in the classroom. Your football is not fair, but like Coach said earlier, only 1% make to the NFL. What about the other 99%? I coach football, so I tell my receiver, tell my guys, hey brother, honestly, I can care less about you as a football player. It doesn't matter, because everybody can't play football. Everybody can be a good person. Everybody can be a good father. You can be a good son. You can be a good person. You can be productive in your community. So those things that I try to stress to my guys and try to preach to them. But like I said, I tell my man, being a football player, it may happen, may not. The chance of it happening is slim to none. But you do have opportunity to be in a productive community.
And how do you keep that positive mind frame? Because it's with mental health being a huge topic and people being so open, especially athletes. When you think of walking off the field, getting hurt, or just they're retired, they're not playing ball, and they're not living their life the way that they were. How do you keep your positive mind frame strong and healthy?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think for me, I'm really close with my family. My dad, my mom passed away a couple of years, 10 years ago. So I'm real close to my dad. We talk a lot. I think you gotta have somebody to talk to who you can trust, who you can bounce ideas off of, who you can tell your innermost secrets to, and there's no judgment. And so I think you just gotta get people around you that love you and you love them back, and treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, so you've really built that empire around you of support, which is key, I think, with any one of us, and no matter what your career is. Gentlemen, any last questions for Travis? Actually, you know what? Before we go, I got to ask you, Travis, who are your predictions for Super Bowl? Got any?
Man, the AFC is kind of tough, but right now, I think as long as Patrick Mahomes on the football field, I mean, it's gonna be hard to beat that kid, man. Yeah. Honestly, I think he's the best we've ever seen. Talent, what he can do at any time in the game. I mean, the guy started 2 years, 1 year's AFC Championship game, second year he won a Super Bowl, and this year he was 14-1 this year. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done. But I got KC in the way I think the Packers are playing right now. Where Aaron Rodgers is playing, Devontae Adams is killing it, man, and that defense is starting to come along too. They're getting to the quarterback, so I think it'll be Packers Chiefs.
Okay.
I like that.
Interesting. Yeah. Gentlemen, any last words for Travis here?
I got to squeeze one question. Just really quickly, when you were playing, did you ever see yourself coaching while you were playing, or did that come after those days?
Actually, I did, man, because another one of I got a couple, friends who are my coaches, and now that I talk to, every now and then, Wes Chandler and Dwayne Dixon, both of those guys are my receiver coaches. And just the knowledge that I got from them, how they approach the game, what they did in their career, and both of those guys went to the University of Florida. And so I thought it was my duty, man, to pass down what I've learned from those guys, to somehow make the game better than what I found it. And so they instilled that in me, and I want to pass that down to the younger guys and let them know, man, this game, the only way is to continue to go on and get better if you continue to pass it down to the next generation. And so when I was in college and I was probably my third or fourth year in the NFL, man, I became a sponge from my receiver coaches, and just decided I wanted to give back.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard it put that way. Your duty to pass it down. That's an awesome way to put it. Awesome.
To kind of piggyback with that, man, a lot of times I get guys, one of my friends here, he owns a gym up here, and I get parents. Hey, you train my son? Like, yeah, I train. How much gonna cost? Like, nah, it's not gonna cost you. I'm like, you don't have to pay me to train your son. Like, to me, like again, I believe this game is meant to be passed down. You know, I got, you know, one of the kids, Michael Jackson, out in Las Vegas. He's signed with USC, and his dad wanted to. I'm like, nah, man, like this is not, you know, something that it's not a secret. It's not something I'm trying to make money off of. I want to give you this to your son, what I've learned, what people have taught me. And on that, I asked that he pass it down to the next generation once he's done, you know. And but yeah, man, like I get it all the time. People want to pay me to train. Like, nah, it's free. Like, it's free, man. This is football. It's a game, you know.
It's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, Travis, thank you so much for your time this evening. We really appreciate it. You know, and I love that you're so real and you're genuinely nice. It comes through in the conversation. And I love that you're saying it's your duty to pass it along and pass it on and teach the next generation. So
Absolutely.
definitely a breath of fresh air. We wish you nothing but the best and happy holidays and to you and your family.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to seeing when your son hits that field too.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for having me, man. I definitely enjoyed it. Enjoyed every moment of it. Hey, man, anytime you guys want me on, I'll be here. Just let me know. Just give me a phone call. I'd
No doubt.
love to come on and talk football with you guys anytime. You know.
No doubt, man.
Absolutely will. Nice to meet you, man.
Thank you for your time tonight, Travis. We appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for being a part of the Play Callers here on this Monday night.
Thank you.
God bless.
Okay, so we are heading into the last little bit of our show. We're just waiting for Kirk to join us again. We'll give him a minute. An incredible interview.
Yeah, good guy. Absolutely.
With Chris, like we said, it's like he's passing it down, which is nice to hear. So
yeah, put that way. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and of course brings up Patrick Mahomes, one that we're probably going to be talking a lot more of.
Yeah, you're right. He's not. Yeah. He's not wrong. He's not wrong about Patrick Mahomes at all.
No. So I know Kirk's probably dying to say it too. So my Giants are out.
Yeah.
We'll just get the elephant in the room dealt with.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah. Okay, where is Kirk? He'll be joining us in just a minute. Yeah. And then we will get to hot topics of the night.
Hope he's not having any internet issues.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll give him a few minutes. If not, well, if you're out there watching us, we want to say thank you for tuning into our live. I know that where I am right now, we have Team Canada or nothing up against Russia.
What sport is that? Hockey?
Hockey.
Okay.
Yeah, semifinals right now. So that's why I keep looking over to the side because I'm watching the hockey game over there.
I got you.
So, well, Chris. Coach Broussard, we were just talking about how incredible that interview was, and Travis was so nice. He was like a breath of fresh air, talking about like he feels like it's his duty to pass it on, right? His knowledge.
That's rare. Everybody wants to charge for it now.
Yeah. If we get it, everyone's looking to make a buck. We have to live, right? But it's just nice. I thought that was pretty cool. So as I was saying to Coach Williams, elephant in the room, you can go ahead. Yes, the Giants are done. My team. It wasn't it was a nice end to my Sunday night.
They gotta make some changes, Tracy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Well, talking about hot topics right away, right off the bat, what was going on with Miami?
What was going on with Tua? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
Tua's about to find his way to the bench. I mean, Tua is showing that he may just be an average quarterback at best. you know.
I was expecting more. I was expecting like a wow moment there. I did go with the Dolphins for picks, just because I thought for sure that was going to be the moment.
Mhm.
Because we saw a lot from Tua. He surprised us. It was Tua time. We were all on board, and then all of a sudden, there's not even a word to describe it.
Hey, either he's a young guy and he's experiencing a slump, because the college football season is not as long as the NFL season. And a lot of times rookies hit a wall. He may have hit that rookie wall.
Oh.
Here we are late, a lot of games into it.
Mhm.
So hopefully he's just hitting a rookie wall and he'll bounce back.
Yeah, let's hope that's the case. Let's hope.
I never even thought about that. Okay, so we know that Super Bowl is coming fast. A lot of Super Bowl parties are being organized right now. Myself, I don't know what I'm doing. We're on a travel ban where I am. We're on lockdown again.
How do y'all do it? Jeez.
It's not fun. I'm going nuts. But this time around, I'm not going to do the quarantine 15. I'm going to lose the first 15 that I gained for the first time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, still drinking my wine and just hanging out. So depending on what goes on, as far as our rules that we have here, I may not be able to go to a party or have a party or even travel. But Coach Broussard, you're doing an NFL takeover party in Tampa.
Yeah, we are planning an NFL takeover party in Tampa, which is the location of the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
We're working on details now, so it's not a lot I can tell, but I can tell you it's going to feature several high-profile players that'll be on hand, greeting fans, signing autographs, taking photos, and just hanging out in the VIP. And it's a nightclub setting, adult
Mhm.
setting, a VIP setting. It'll be downtown Tampa, Florida, at one of the upper echelon nightclubs. So, I just want everybody to start looking out for, once we finalize these details, I'll be putting out the advertisement for it. So if you are going to be in town for the Super Bowl and you're looking for a nice place that's an adult vibe to hang out and mingle with some of the NFL's best, what we do is we bring in about 10 to 20 NFL players, and it's a 2-night event. It'll be that Friday and Saturday before the Super Bowl, and they'll be on hand to take pictures, sign autographs, and mingle with the fans. So it's a really cool experience. We did it last year in Miami, and it went really well. And it's something that we want to follow the Super Bowl wherever it's at, and we'll do an NFL takeover party wherever. And usually we partner with some of the NFL organizations that support current and retired players as well, to bring in more players to be a part of it.
Okay. Well, you'll have to set me up virtually in the corner so I can see what's going on and get a couple interviews that way.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to make that happen.
We definitely need to do that. Yeah.
Coach Williams, what are your plans for Super Bowl? Got anything brewing up there?
No plans. Just watching the game and watching the game at home, and hopefully my two teams will be in that game. So we'll see.
Well, let's talk.
I think that's cool. Say that, but really quickly before you move on, Coach, that's an awesome event that you put together there. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Last year we had Warren Sapp, and it went well in Miami, Florida. We got a lot of bad weather last year during Super Bowl, but you know how Miami is. That weather is like bipolar. 1 minute it's storming, and the next minute is clear. So, yeah, it went well. Tampa's going to be a really good spot for it. The pandemic is slowing things down. That's why this late in the stage, I have a lot of uncertainty. But once the local government officials give more answers on what we can expect, I'll have more details.
Perfect. Now, speaking of Super Bowl, gentlemen, I want to know, what are your predictions? Who are you thinking or favoring to head into the Super Bowl? Coach Kirk, sorry, you're just waiting to answer this question.
I kind of like what Travis had to say. I like you can't doubt. I mean, KC is hard to doubt those guys out. Hard to count them out, as well as Green Bay is on fire. So those have to be two of the hands-on favorites. Earlier, you thought Pittsburgh would make some noise, but Pittsburgh they got so banged up during the season, and now they've gotten off track lately and lost some games. So, I mean, it does look like Green Bay and Kansas City if you're looking at it from the perspective of who's hot right now.
Coach Williams, Super Bowl predictions. I mean, I'm on the fence, so I'm not even sure what to say right now.
Yeah, well, you still got Buffalo in the hunt, but I am going to stick with my predictions early on of Tampa Bay and the Steelers. I'm looking at the brackets. I mean, the road for both of those teams is a manageable road. You're talking Tampa Bay starts out with Washington. They would, if they get past that, then they would face the winner of the Rams and the Seahawks. I think that road is manageable for Tampa Bay. Also for the Steelers, start out with the Browns, and then they would catch the winner of the Titans, Ravens. So I really believe that those two teams have a chance to still catch a hot moment in these playoffs. So I'm gonna stick with that until I'm forced to come up with it.
I know it's very unpredictable right now. I mean, who would have thought the Giants were going to get kicked out that quickly, eh? Yeah. I mean, anything goes, right?
What's your prediction?
I still have to say it. I mean, we'll go back to week 1 when I brought the two of you were like rolling your eyes at me and you weren't really sure. And now, fast forward to today, the Bills are on fire. I mean, I kind of feel like maybe they have a chance of making it.
Okay. So Buffalo's gonna beat KC
Hey, you never know. The one thing that this season has taught us, anything is possible.
Definitely.
Okay. Expect the unexpected.
That's true.
Look, the Steelers, they won 11 straight, then all of a sudden they haven't been able to win one since. Yeah. Then you have the Jets, they've lost every game, and then all of a sudden they decide to win 2 in a row.
So from the NFC, who do you have?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
I don't know. This is so frustrating. I have to do a little bit more research. Like I said, it's so unpredictable. But I'm feeling really confident about the Bills. That I am.
Don't sleep on the Seahawks.
Yeah, can't sleep on the Seahawks. That's scary though for the Chiefs. I mean, for the Chiefs have having to face the Bills on their first time putting the pads on in the playoffs. I mean, if the Bills could get by the Colts, obviously, but that could be scary for the Chiefs. So you never know.
Yeah. Let's talk about NFL MVP.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I was going to say that.
Okay.
But I also like Josh Allen, so I don't know. And if anybody's watching live right now and they would like to chime in on this conversation, or if you are watching this after the fact that we are live, we want you to tag us at the Play Callers Pod and tell us who you think the NFL MVP is, because I'm feeling that 3 of us are not going to agree. Coach Williams, who do you think NFL MVP?
Let's hear this. I got to hear this.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, Coach, that it's Aaron Rodgers. The amount of touchdowns that he threw and the way he made it look, that is just off the charts. But I think conventional thinking probably is going to be a lot of people leaning towards Patrick Mahomes just because of what he's done in the past. I think you're going to get some skewing in the votes when it comes to that, and you also get some people thinking Josh Allen. But if you're just basing it on this year and performance of this year, it would have to be Aaron Rodgers. But you watch and see. I mean, there's going to be some skewing of that vote and going towards Mahomes. You watch and see.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Let's talk about the coaching that's going on in the NFL, Coach Broussard. What are your thoughts on that? Like the coaching carousel in the NFL. We got college football we got to talk about as well.
What do we have now? 6 open jobs in NFL? Is it 6?
Yeah. Well, as of today, I know there was a lot that were being tweeted out that people were fired.
Yeah, so you have the Chargers just let Anthony Lynn go today. That's open job. Jacksonville's open. The Jets. I mean, it's like every year you have 6 to 7 open jobs, and this year is no different.
Okay, so before you answer this,
okay.
I'm going to put the question out to you, both the coaches. Is it the coach's fault or is it the players? So,
A little bit
okay.
of both.
Yeah.
But they're
And,
not going to let go of the play. I mean, really. I mean, you didn't hear about a bunch of players that were being fired.
I mean, that's not how it works. I mean, but we all know that that's the case. I mean, you know, I've been down that coaching firing road before, and I've, you know, obviously that's a, you know, you accept responsibility as a head coach. It ultimately is on you, but I know when I was walking out the door, I knew that, you know, I wasn't there by myself. I mean, there's,
Mhm.
you never win by yourself and you never lose by yourself. So I definitely think that there's some overhaul of players that need to happen in some situations, and that would go from the GMs. You know, as these GMs are pushing these coaches out, you know, there's some GMs that should be taking that ride right along with them. So it's a tough situation. Coaches know what they signed up for. I mean, all those guys are big boys. They know what they signed up for. But trust me, you know, they ain't in that spot by themselves, no doubt about it.
Coach Broussard, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it falls on the players and coaches. I mean, it falls on the entire organization, not just players and coaches, but the GM, the scouts. You know, it's not on one person, but the head
Mhm.
coach, the general manager, they're figureheads of the organization. So, you know, they have to bite the brunt of the consequences when you don't win. That comes with the job. They know what they signed up for. That's the reason coaching salaries are usually guaranteed in NFL, you know, because there's so much uncertainty. So
Mhm.
um it's just one of those things to where you have to draft well, you have to coach well, and the players have to perform well. And they all work hand in hand. And
Okay.
so the NFL is a tough league. You know, you have really good coaches and really good players in the highest level position, and it's very competitive. So it's really difficult to win games in that league. And you
Mhm.
have good coaches, really good coaches that lose their jobs. And this year is no different. Um, the thing I'm really excited to see is what names are gonna appear for these open jobs. I mean, you hear Urban Meyer's name out there a lot. I'm really anxious to hear
Yeah,
coaches.
for what? For the Jaguars, like the worst kept secret ever, wants
Yeah,
what, $12 million a year?
that I don't understand how anyone can pay any coach $12 million a year, and he's never coached a game in that league. He's unproven in that league. You know, Nick Saban had all that success, went to the NFL and flopped. You would think they would have learned.
Mhm.
So to give a coach the biggest coaching contract in the history of coaching, and he's never won a game in that league, is beyond belief to me. But it just goes to show you the world that we live in 2021 now.
Mhm.
Everybody is so quick to jump on the next hot thing. And I mean, if Jacksonville wants to cuff up, I mean, that could be the death of the franchise, man. You give Urban Meyer this John Gruden like contract, and he flops, and you're on the hook for $100,000, $100 million. You know, that's going to be insane to see, and it looks like it's probably going to happen. So, um, I'm curious to see. I'm curious to hear coach's perspective on how Urban Meyer would translate to the NFL.
Coach Williams, what
Man,
are your thoughts on this?
you know, I can see why they want him to be the coach, but I would agree with Coach. I mean, he's never coached in that league, and you know, it's just amazing to me how smart people that make these decisions, you know, sometimes get caught up in sort of a fan's way of thinking. You know, I mean, I mean, unless Urban Meyer's going to make, you know, every scouting decision, unless he's going to, unless he's going to also serve as a quasi GM, you know, there's only so much of X's and O's that you're going to put into a certain amount or a certain level of personnel of players on the field. So
Mhm.
I mean, that's definitely to me. And look what's happening with John Gruden. I mean, that's a slow build. I mean, he was the highest paid coach at that time. It'll be the same thing with Urban Meyer, and with that franchise, that won't be a quick turnaround. So I don't know. I mean, I think he does command a certain, you know, he builds a certain culture. I think he's got the right personality to deal with a pro player. It's just the money that they're talking about is what's got me off. But if you dive into Urban Meyer and you say this is a 6-year deal, this is a 6-year building process, I can see him doing it and making it work. It just won't happen fast.
Okay.
I mean, one more
sorry.
thing, especially with his health history, to be willing to commit that type of money to a man that has had health problems, I just don't get that one. So
Yeah, money's a question, Coach. No doubt about it. I agree.
Well, if he can get the job, then I'm wondering if I could get a job too, coaching in the NFL. That guy just take $1 million. Coaches, what do you think? Do you think Trevor Lawrence deserves the Heisman? What are your thoughts when it comes to the Heisman Awards here? Oh, who's shaking their head?
Definitely not Trevor Lawrence.
Both of us are shaking our heads at that one.
I think Devontae Smith deserves the Heisman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
guess the question is who deserves it and who's actually going to get it.
I don't know if he's going to win it because I think Mac Jones is going to steal a lot of his votes. They're in the same market. They're in the same team.
Yeah.
A lot of those voters, maybe Kyle Trask, he can get it.
Those are your two guys. I mean, they're the hottest guys at the moment, Smith and Jones. And I mean, Trask would have been there, but you know how this stuff works, man, with people and these writers and people that vote. I mean, those last couple of games are going to hurt Trask, even though Trask, if you really break it down for what it's worth, should be in that running. But I got to go with Smith, and you'll probably see Mac Jones end up as number 2.
Okay.
I think Trask should have skipped that bowl game when it was announced that he would be playing with freshman receivers and walk-on receivers, and his guys were out. I think he should have skipped that game and let his last game have been his performance against Alabama, which he had 4 touchdowns. He didn't play. Yeah. He played good against Alabama. The defense just played horrible. I think it would have been a possibility that Devontae could steal some of Mac's votes and Mac steal some of Devontae's vote, and maybe Trask would have snuck in there and got it. But I think Devontae Smith is going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, he's the best player. He is the best player.
Yeah, looks like Eddie's saying Devontae hands down. I just got a text message saying he's on fire. Well, okay. Well, I don't know.
Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah, shout out to Eddie. Shout out to Walker, who's upstairs, who just said he's on fire, which he was the one that told me that Trevor Lawrence should win. Jeez. Never going to listen to a Dolphins fan again.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'll pay for that comment later.
Trevor Lawrence just got beat on the biggest stage, and he didn't play a lot of games during the season.
Okay, let's talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, playoff talk. Okay, so I believe him and his wife Giselle just sold one of their places for like $32 million, maybe possibly $37 million. So he can crap the bed all he wants. It doesn't really matter because he is set for life. But do you think that we're going to see a bitter Brady show up for playoffs?
If you're asking me that question first, you know I'm going to say yes. I mean, this guy, the guy is 43 years old, and you see the performance that look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers are, the touchdown numbers are there. Yes, the interception numbers are a little bit high for him, but he's playing in a Bruce Arians, style offense, which basically lends itself to that, types of chances that they take, which lead to interceptions. But if you really pay attention to it, these guys are getting better with each other every week. Antonio Brown is actually becoming a real part of the offense. The other 2 kids are really being unselfish when it comes to allowing Brown to find his way into the offense. So that's Evans and Godwin. And I'm telling you, Brady's on a whole nother level. You start talking about quarterbacks in playoff situations, Brady's on a whole different level. He's going to have to prove to all of us that he can't do that anymore. But he's got the pieces around him, and and he's got that pedigree, and so I think he's got every chance to be to make a good run at this thing, no doubt about it.
Okay.
I think Brady I think they have enough pieces around him and they're improving to win a playoff game. But I think the competition in the NFC is just too stiff for them to get past. I mean, who are they going to beat? They're not going to beat Seattle. They won't, if Drew Brees comes back and plays like he did before injury, they won't beat the Saints. So I see them maybe winning a playoff game, but that's as far as I see them going. I think they'll have an early exit from the playoffs.
I mean, you could be right, Coach. I mean, the only thing I'll debate you on with that is I'll say that, Seattle is, outside of Russell Wilson, Seattle is not really loaded. They got a big kid that can do some things on the outside, but that is not a loaded offensive group. And to be quite honest, New Orleans has had I'm a New Orleans fan, grew up as a New Orleans Saints fan, and I got to be objective about that and say that even New Orleans, there is a little bit of a chink in the armor on New Orleans too. Now, if they face the Packers, there's some matchup things that would say the Packers maybe not could get to the conference championship. If it's the Packers, we're talking, but the Saints and the Seahawks are definitely beatable teams compared to the twos around Brady. So we'll see.
Do we have that playoff matchup for their first round game?
They're playing Washington.
They're playing who?
Buccaneers versus Washington.
Okay, that's going to be their win, and then they'll be out. They'll be out in the next round.
I'm looking forward to seeing a bitter Brady. He's quite entertaining. Yeah.
You like to see him suffer. You're a true Bills fan. You're a true Bills fan because the Bill fans don't like Brady.
I never said I didn't like him, but it's a good drinking game. Every time you see bitter Brady on the sideline swearing or having a little hissy fit, you just take a shot. Someone's going to win at the end of that game.
I think all the women that hate on him actually like him.
I don't hate on him. I just think it doesn't matter. It's just, I don't know. Okay, here's another name that I'm going to bring up. Did you hear Johnny Manziel just signed with the players fan choice players football? The fans get to say what the player should do.
Yeah.
Well, what is this?
Have you heard of that, Coach?
And why all of a sudden is Manziel show me the money all of a sudden showing up out of nowhere?
Have you heard of that league, Coach?
I have no idea.
Fan-controlled football. That is what it's called. Fan-controlled football.
That's the league where the fans vote on every decision in the organization. They're like
the logo, the colors, what they should wear in the place.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's an arena league, I believe.
You know what? I have no idea. I haven't heard of it yet. I heard that he was doing something, but I haven't heard about that yet. I was a part of the Montreal organization when he signed there to play the CFL. So he's got some things, some issues that hold him back from his top end performance. But
ego.
I mean, it could be it, but there's some things there for sure. I'll just say from a scouting standpoint, there's some things there. But if this league is not as serious and is not asking much of his time, and he can just be that carefree guy, then maybe this will be something good for him. So if it's not, if it's not causing him to be 100%, fully bought into football, then maybe he'll be successful there.
But he would have to listen to what I'm telling him to do. And I'm not sure that he's capable of doing that. If I tell him to do a play, he has to do the play. He has to wear the colors I tell him to wear.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is going to go over very well.
It's a new concept. They're trying to engage the fans.
Well, we'll definitely have to follow this one and see who else follows along. You never know. Tom Brady might just show up there. Coach Broussard, let's talk about Feed the Kids. I know we got to wrap up, but I want you to tell us a little bit more. How is that going?
Yeah, it's going well. We're going to make another go at it here. The week before the Super Bowl, I'm going to go down and I'm going to visit 3 new orphanages, and we're going to provide them food the same way we did back in November. And, like I said, it's a thing that we're going to keep going. So if anyone wants to help me feed the kids, basically what I do is I go to Dominican Republic, which I have businesses there, and I visit 3 orphanages, and I make food donations, bags and bags of food. So the link is on the bottom of our screen if you want to help and contribute. Every little bit helps. $10, $20, whatever. Those kids down there, they don't have much. They don't have any opportunity. Like I said, there was a staggering statistic that I heard, to where I found out that 75% of kids in Dominican Republic don't have 2 parents, and 96% don't have a father, and you have 60-something% that are in orphanages.
Wow.
It just really hit my heart. It hit home, and I developed this program to provide food for them.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for everything that you've done. And we'll put the links up, and we will also put the links up on our Facebook page. And if you're watching, you guys should follow us so you don't miss anything. You don't miss when we're live. You don't miss when we have our little banters online. You can also follow us on Instagram. It's the Play Callers Pod. Hey, we try to go live as much as possible. If there's a topic that you would like us to review, let us know. Make sure you comment on this video as well. And next week's show, we have Terry Tharps discussing the top 5 running backs in the NFL draft prospects coming up.
Correct. We'd like to do that show before the college football national championship.
Okay.
So we can actually preview the game, get Tarek's picks as well. That will be this coming Monday.
Okay, perfect. Well, guys, it was a pleasure. Always fun. We had a great interview. It was great to pick your brains. Great to hear what you had to say. I know we don't always agree, and that's probably the best part.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Football, geez, there's always something. And like I said, Team Canada is playing tonight in the semifinals against Russia as we speak, and they are winning 4-0. So that's why I keep turning my head, because I have my eye on the hockey game here. So, gentlemen, until next week, we'll catch you on social. Thanks, guys, for watching and tuning in. And again, thanks very much for our guests.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
God bless. Yeah.